Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Found Frequency podcast, your space for that alignment, expansion, and of course, unstoppable energy. I am your host, Fallon, and I'm so very excited to have you here today. Ladies, I have been busy. I've been going and I am like, oh my God, it's the end of the week. I just hopped off another podcast onto this one. Let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like this conversation is going to be so juicy and it's going to resonate with so many of you because it seems to be coming up quite a lot in my world. And usually when that happens, that means somebody needs to hear it. So, it's going to be, something that so many of us experience, myself included. But I think it took me a while, as it normally does, to actually find the language to explain it better, right? I have all these downloads that come in and all these thoughts and all these like ideas that I want to share with you. And then, like, how do I explain that in a way that they're going to understand? So, today we're going to be talking about the high functioning gap. Okay. This is the gap between what you know, this hyper awareness, and actually becoming this next level. The embodiment aspect. It's like dreaming and then actually living it, right? Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of women that I have conversations with that, they feel stuck, the stuck conversation. I bring this up a lot because this is the word that keeps getting repeated. It's like they're incredibly self aware. You know all the podcasts, you listen to them, which is great. You have the healing language, you've done the things, you recognize your patterns, different nervous system terms, you've definitely got concepts of mindset, but you can't explain exactly what it is that's keeping you stuck, right? And it's like your life is still moving, your life is still going, but you're not where you want to be. I've definitely lived pieces of this, absolutely. Not necessarily rock bottom or complete chaos, let's say, but I call it the high functioning gap. I mean, that's the most simple way to explain this. It's like you're still performing, you're still producing, right? You're still doing all the things, but internally there's this undercurrent of like, there's got to be more than this, right? There's got to be more than this. There's something that I'm not experiencing. There's something that I'm not living out. There's something that my soul is craving. Okay. And this isn't just in entrepreneurship. Obviously, when you're an entrepreneur, a lot of shit comes to the surface. This is in your relationships, whether it's in your health or tapping into your own creative current, in motherhood, in your purpose, in your self worth. Like women are functioning, I feel like, beautifully on the outside, but it's that secret feeling of disconnect from themselves on the inside, right? And that is the gap I'm speaking of. Okay. It's like being self-aware, but we're still stuck. Okay. There's a really big difference between understanding something, like understanding the process of something, and actually like embodying it, actually living it, actually breathing it, actually that be do have, right? You can understand every mindset concept in the world, but still avoid your life. Like it's like, what's bad for you, you do it anyways, it's like, better, right? It's like you can know the patterns, but you still repeat them, or you can understand your traumas, right? What triggers you, but you're still abandoning yourself when these lessons come up. Why is that? Because awareness alone does not create transformation. Okay. Embodiment does, being internally at the cellular level. Okay. And this is where I think so many women accidentally trap themselves, right? The self awareness feels like it's being productive. When you're so self aware and you understand all these concepts and you listen to these podcasts and you read these books and you're like, I get it, but you're not doing anything about it, right? That's it feels like you are, though. And this is the difference, right? Journaling feels great, and listening to things and the podcasts and reading the books, yeah, absolutely super valuable. But eventually, there's like this moment where the insight without the embodiment kind of becomes just another form of avoidance. Ask me how I know. If nothing in your actual identity is shifting, then nothing in your life is shifting either. Okay. Why? Because identity literally dictates everything. your patterns, your behaviors, your beliefs. Okay. And it's almost like this era of people getting addicted to their healing. It's like you're getting addicted to the processing, right? So many women become unintentionally addicted to processing themselves, right? If you ever hear someone speak about like healing, but then that's almost like they're like word vomiting. It's like they're over explaining it, they're analyzing, they're healing, they're understanding it, they're researching every little part of it. They're consuming so much information. Like I know this because this is definitely it's definitely a journey I've been on. It really, for me, I feel like it keeps them safely disconnected from like too much risk, right? Or too much visibility, or even taking that action. It's like you can know all the things. I know what's going on. I understand it, but are you actually changing the pattern, right? And especially with, not expanding as well. So it's like, how do I explain this? It's like staying in preparation mode, right? Instead of participation mode. Like we're living this life now. Like we need to be present now. We need to be participating in life now, right? We're not just meant to know the processes of life. We're not meant to be preparing for the next thing all the time. We're actually meant to be present. Power of now. That keeps coming up also very much in my world. And it shows up everywhere, right? The woman staying in the relationship she knows has expired because leaving feels uncertain. Well, of course it does. But would you rather live the next 10 years with someone you want to be with? Or do you want to, dare to trust the unknown? Women endlessly researching business ideas, but never doing anything about it, never launching. It's like, how to set up your business in 10, 20 different ways, but you don't actually set up a business, right? The women waiting until she fully heals before allowing yourself to be seen. I don't think there is such a thing. You're never fully healed. You're fully yourself now. You're fully whole now with all the, different bits and bobs that aren't completed or healed, let's say. That's part of the journey. And this is where I think people are like mixing everything up, where it's like we're meant to be participating in life and interacting with life and feeling all the feelings and doing all the things, right? Being present. It's like a woman, saying that she wants freedom, but she continues to choose the familiar identity every single day. Okay. You can say you want something, but you're not actually going after it. Right. And I feel like that's probably why the high functioning gap is so freaking sneaky, because from the outside, it can look like you're doing things. It can look like you're being super productive, super successful, and know all the things, right? But internally, you're exhausted. Why? Because you keep circling yourself. You're not actually taking an action. You're not actually moving. I feel like I'm getting really passionate about this right now because I think this is the missing piece. This is where people need to recognize where they're at and not just recognize it, but fucking do something about it, right? It's like, I especially see this in the entrepreneur space. Okay. And it's probably something I noticed for myself in the beginning. It's like so many of these people, so many of these women are so brilliant. I'm going to say women, but men and women, right? Brilliant, talented, smart, capable, and yet exhausted, overthinking, spinning their wheels, trying strategy after strategy after strategy. And I'm not going to get into a strategy conversation, but it's not fully landing in the reality of what they actually want. Why is that? Okay. Well, I'll tell you why, obviously. Strategy matters, yes. 1,000% strategy is a part of it. We've got to have some structure. We've got to have some masculine in there, right? But if strategy is your very first focus, meaning you're putting all of your attention there first, you're putting all your energy on strategy first, that's your red flag. That is the first red flag. Okay. The order of the way in which you do things matters. You see me, you hear me talk about this all of time, right? It's not just doing to do, it's the energy behind what you're doing. It's the intention behind what you're doing. If you're just putting out, let's, for example, use social media, because social media is, what I do, right? It's an easy one. If I'm just putting out a post to put out a post because I was told to put out a post, where's the intention and the energy behind that, right? If I'm like genuinely embodied in my story, embodied in my energy, and I'm sharing about that on social media as a post, there's a completely different thing happening there. There's a completely different resonance that comes off, okay? It's like The energy driving the strategy matters, the frequency underneath the action matters, but the identity operating the business matters. Okay. It's like two women can do the exact same thing, exact same strategy, let's say. I've seen this example so many times, and you get completely different results. Why is that? Because one woman is coming from a genuine place of overflow. She is embodied in her work. She is self trusting. She is certain. She is expanding. People feel that energy. Okay. And then another woman is operating from like, fuck it, like scarcity. Like, this must work. I'm in lack. Let's go. Let me prove to myself. Let me crunch some numbers. Let me panic. Let me like, it's like this, I need this to happen energy. I need this to work, right? It's the same action using the exact same strategy. Okay. We're using the exact same strategy in this example, completely different frequency. I mean, this applies to so many different things. This is just a relationship with your business, but what about a relationship in your life, right? Or your relationship to money, your relationship to your own health, every single area of your life. Okay. The order matters because the energy underneath what you're doing always matters. You guys know I'm energy first. I'm frequency first, always. Because once you fucking get that, everything else in your life will change. It's like you can say you want love, for example, but if underneath that desire of wanting love is fear of abandonment or self protection or distrust or like this choose me energy, or I'm not enough energy, so I need someone to make me whole kind of energy, you're going to create a completely different experience than the woman operating from wholeness. Like, I am whole on my own and I can't wait to share that with someone. Or from her own self respect, from openness, from curiosity, from that desire, from trust, from grounded certainty, right? It's the same desire, but it's in a different identity. It's a different frequency that's being emitted off of you. Okay. So obviously it's a different reality, right? And people feel that. Again, it's back to the feeling. And this is honestly one of the biggest shifts in my own life, right? Realizing energetics first, always. Okay. Frequency first, identity first, like all of this. And then we can do some strategy, and then we can kind of hone it in, and then we can kind of structure it a bit more because we know what's working. It's like strategy without energetic alignment turns into force, right? And forced energy is what's burning you out. It's what's burning a woman out. Okay. It's this like, I must do feeling. It's this do to do. It's this like, I was told to do this. You're overriding your patterns. It's like this running on adrenaline. I just had this flashback to yachting. It's like, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to work. I've got to go. I've got to go. And it's like, no, that's why you're so exhausted. You don't have to do shit, right? A really great way to think of this and to understand this in very simple terms. And I adopted this from Tony Robbins, brought it up on one of his seminars about the order in which we do things, right? So I'm saying energy first here, but it's like his analogy, or his analogy was a phone number, right? If you think of a phone number, you're trying to call someone and you've got all the correct numbers for the phone number, but you dial them in the wrong order, right? You're not going to get through to them. The wrong number. It's actually the wrong number because the numbers are mixed up, right? The order in which the numbers are in is mixed up. And this is kind of what I'm getting at here. Okay. The numbers matter. The order in which you do things matter. Okay. And that is exactly where I think people are doing it wrong. Plain and simple. It's like you're trying to build the business, or you're trying to manifest a relationship, or you're trying to create freedom for yourself from a frequency of the version of yourself who is still fundamentally unsafe, right? Who still fundamentally doesn't think they're worthy, who still fundamentally doesn't trust themselves, who still doesn't feel like expansion and the unknown are safe enough for them to hold, right? So it's like, even if success comes in, you can't sustain it because you're not operating from the right place. Your nervous system pulls you back to the familiar always, right? Back to that identity. And that is the gap. That is the gap, the high functioning gap that so many people fall into, because it's like you actually have this awareness. You're doing all the right things. You think you're doing all the right things, but where are you operating from? What energy? right? It's like this work is so much deeper than just positive thinking. Absolutely, your mindset is a huge part of this, but we've got to interrupt what's not working. We've got to become aware of the unconscious loops happening, not just the conscious things happening, right? We have to alchemize these emotional patterns that come up that keep us stuck in the same place. We have to recalibrate the identity to the identity that we actually want to be living from, right? It's like we have to replace these old pathways with more aligned ones, not in a theoretical way, but embodiment. People talk about embodiment so much, but what that to me is like, embodiment is frequency first. Like who internally am I being first? Where is my energy at? Where is my energy at before I sit down at the computer? Where is my energy at before I make that phone call? Where is my energy at before I have this type of conversation? Right? Energetically, where are you? And where are you operating from? If it's needy energy, people feel that. If it's embodied, if it's authentic, if it's just who you are, then it's just who you are. And people feel that, right? This is why transformation, like it requires repetition because we're strengthening this muscle. We're strengthening learning how to operate from a different place. If you're used to, it's like that whole thing. If like you're used to complaining, it actually, I think it releases dopamine in your brain, the way people complain, but it's just a pattern that they're used to doing. So what do? They keep doing it until you interrupt that and change your ways, right? Transformation requires repetition. Your body like needs evidence as well. Your nervous system does need a bit of safety, but you create that safety internally, not externally. Identity needs reinforcement, right? And this is why like one breakthrough for yourself is rarely going to change someone's life permanently. You can have a breakthrough. It's not even that. Okay, sorry. I'm going off topic. Not off topic. I'm trying to put in words here. It's like one big breakthrough isn't the be all end all of your transformation. You have the breakthrough, but then who are you on the other side of the breakthrough? Who are you in that part of the journey, right? Are you falling back to your old patterns? Are you falling back to your old energetic ways of being? Or are you moving forward in a different way, right? Embodiment, repeating that embodiment makes it your new normal. And that is like, it's hard to put this in just one podcast episode. But I wanted to hone in on, this high functioning gap because this is literally why I created Unbound. And Unbound should actually be at least a year, if not more, of a program. But I did 6 months, condensed it all. It's not just teaching you how to think differently, it's literally helping you become the woman who naturally moves differently. It's not like a painful process. You have a fucking fun time doing it because you're living from a higher elevated state. You're vibrating in a higher level. It's like you're not collapsing under your own expansion. You're allowing your soul to evolve. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous process. And it's like you're trusting yourself and you're being more brave and you're being courageous and you're doing things you would have never done because you didn't trust yourself before you got into the program. The women who can actually hold the life she says she wants, right? She's unbound. She's unbound, right? So it's like maybe the answer isn't how do I learn more? What else can I consume here? Maybe the answer is more like how do I finally become the woman I know I'm capable of being? How do I focus on my frequency first? Okay. And now I don't go super in depth on how I do this in this podcast, but I mean, that can be literally something as simple as the music you're listening to, a 20-minute run, doing 10 jumping jacks before you write an email, like literally biochemistry, like changing your physical state, changing your frequency. Okay. And then doing the thing. Right? You don't just, it's just like, oh, this is like why it's a really great habit for people. They get out of bed and they go straight to the gym. They're changing their energy first. So guess what? They have a more productive day. Do they not? I mean, come on. The high functioning gap like closes the moment a woman stops trying to intellectually understand her next level. You don't need to understand your next level to be in your next level. I think this is what's sold so much. And this is where the strategy conversation kind of does my head in a bit. Because it's like, you've got to know how to do this plus this plus this to get this. And that's not necessarily true. People can have the same strategy, get highly different results because it's not the strategy that does it, right? It's your energy, it's your embodiment. It's like, It's like people new in the entrepreneur space. I see this all the time, and I fell into this trap as well. You want the structure, you want the strategy right away before you've had the transformation, before you've embodied this next level. And it's almost like you're just, I don't know, it just doesn't work that way. And you'll understand if you've been on that journey. I'm sure this is clicking for a lot of you. You've got to embody it first. You've got to start moving like her first. You've got to choose like her first. The conversations that you're having with yourself, this internal dialogue, it's got to come from that place of her already being there, right? You've got to trust like her. You've got to live like her, right? And I feel like I see this too, even when I even catch myself in the grind and the doing and the doing and the doing. It's like, who am I doing from? Am I from the one that is in needy energy that this has to work or this has to go perfectly or this must be this way? Or am I coming from a genuine place of overflow and abundance where it's like, I get to do this, right? But I don't have to do it right now. And I don't have to do it in this way that that person told me to do it. I get to do it my way. That's the beauty of owning your own business. But we won't go off on that. But it's just like, I want people to understand this because it will change the game for you, and this is the kind of thing you've got to do before the evidence arrives. Obviously that's an outcome, right? That's something that's inevitable, that's going to happen for you if you keep stacking the odds in your favor, in the right energy, in the right order. But my loves, I'm going to love and leave you there. It was a quick one today. I just feel like the high functioning gap keeps coming up and it needs to be addressed because it's actually such a quick shift. It's actually like right at your fingertips, literally. You can shift your energy. You can shift it's like being self sourced, right? Learning how to get energetically backing yourself, learning how to have this internal power without any of your external circumstances agreeing with you, right? That's not how it works. It's internal, then external. So I'm going to love and leave you there, and I will catch you next week. Bye.